Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about the 2016 historical period drama horror film, which is called The Witch. Now, this movie premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2015, but had its sort of a wider release in 2016 in the U.S. And I kind of missed the boat on this one because it was one that I remember kind of wanting to see in theaters, but for some reason I didn't. But I just ended up watching it on Blu-ray with my girlfriend last night. She was actually pretty interested in the film as well. We've been together for about 3 years, and I kind of got her started on the whole horror kick she's on. So it's now she brings me movies like that she wants to watch. But I'm glad she did because I really enjoyed this movie. Just briefly the premise of it and what it's about. I'll just read it off the wiki real quick. The film follows a Puritan family encountering forces of evil in the woods beyond their New England farm. So the premise is pretty simple. They kind of have to leave this town because of certain religious things going on, and then they're apparently plagued by forces like witchcraft or black magic and possession and different things like that. And it's basically about this family breaking down over whatever is going on. And there, of course, could be a witch, in the forest or the woods or something like that. So yeah, pretty simple premise. And I know a lot of people would go into this movie, and then come out of it disappointed because it's not like a creature feature, it's not like a in-your-face, jump scare, loud noises everywhere, kind of horror movie. It's not about just it's not about an actual like witch going around just one by one slaughtering each member of the family. It's much more complex the way it goes about the story than that, and it's a much more unique and admirable choice with the way it goes about its story, I think. And the director, I think, just did a marvelous job with the mood of it, and as well as the camera work and everything like that. It really set a very nice tone, for the movie, and had some really nice shots in it as well. And I hear another complaint that the film was like, it didn't have enough like color to it or something. I don't know what people are wanting, if they want like a really bright and vibrant movie about witchcraft or something. I don't know. But I thought the coloring is all pretty appropriate. And from what I read, they also, every, lighting was, natural light, from them filming on location, so, I think that's actually pretty cool. So this movie's not, it's not conventional, or it's at least not what people could be expecting. This movie could have easily been mismarketed, and in some ways it was, because people went into it and then they came out disappointed or, bored, saying, oh yeah, that movie was so stupid, or I fell asleep, nothing happened. There's people like that, and they just annoy the crap out of me. But you do kind of have to know, what kind of movie this actually is going into it, or you actually can appreciate filmmaking like this. And I, for one, I still enjoy a good straight up, horror gore movie or something like that. Creature feature here and there and everything like that, but I've grown to really appreciate more suspense-driven horror, psychological thriller type of movies like this. And this movie, I gotta say, is one of the damn finest films in that regard I've seen in a very long time. And I want to steal my girlfriend's copy of it. I have to track it down myself now to get me a Blu-ray copy of it, because it's probably one of my favorite horror movies I've seen in quite a while, actually. I did like We Are What We Are, which I also reviewed recently. I gave that one like a B or something, I think. B plus. I'd probably have like a B right now. I did like elements of that, but I didn't really dive in as deep into things as I wanted. And I kind of, parts that were a little bit underwhelming to me. I don't want to go into that again right now. But this movie, it really just delivered for me in a much more memorable way, I think. And like I said, it's not a conventional horror movie. It's really subtle in the way it approaches the story and the characters and the threat they're under. And spoilers in the title, by the way, because I'm kind of going to talk about what actually happens and kind of go into what's actually going on. So click off the video, please. Even though I'm sure most of you have seen it and want to see it now, but maybe there's somebody like me that didn't for some reason, but warning. So anyway, it's really, well, before we get deeper into that, why don't we talk about the cast first. Our main cast member is Anya Taylor-Joy, as the eldest daughter of the family, Thomason. I love Anya Taylor-Joy. She's one of my favorite actresses working today. She's done just a ton of films recently that I've really, really liked, and I'm very excited about her work going forward. She's only 21 years old. She's my age. She's older than me by a few months. But she's one of the most promising actresses out there nowadays. And The Witch was like her first like major role. She had a role in like Vampire Academy, but that was like uncredited. But this is her first major role, and then I also really liked her in Morgan. Did a review on that before. Of course, she assisted in Split. She's going to be in the sequel to that. And I just read some articles about how she does like the horror genre, and it seems like she's going to be doing more of that as it goes, or at least thriller type of films, and I'm pretty excited about that. She's also going to be playing Mutant and in the New Mutants movie, from Sony and Marvel coming out next year, which is going to be magic, which should be pretty cool. But anyway, I just really like her. She's really expressive. She feels very real, and she can be pretty raw with her performance as an actress, I think. And I also really liked the actor who played the father in this movie, Ralph Ineson. He played William. I thought he did well. And Kate Dickie as Catherine, the mother. Both Kate Dickie and Ralph Ineson were both on Game of Thrones. Ralph Ineson didn't have like a very prominent role. I think he was one of Theon Greyjoy's men in the earlier seasons. And then Kate Dickie was, of course, Liza, Catelyn Stark's sister. You should look her up on Game of Thrones if you want to see how it goes for her on that. They seem to be a fairly normal family for the time period, but they do have like issues with each other that are kind of to be expected, with how they clash and stuff like that. They're a fairly poor family as well, and there's even discussion between the father and mother of selling Thomason off, in order to get more money and everything, and to give her to a better family, supposedly. So there's things like that going on as well, and just them trying to keep some form of a farm home sort of thing. And again, I really like the environment. I like that they filmed, on location, really, and like all the natural lighting. I said it's actually pretty cool to know that. And indoors, the only lighting was actually candles they had. So it wasn't like artificial lights just shine down on the actors. So that's really cool. So yeah, the whole cast gives a pretty good performance. And the main question about this movie is there actually a witch? It seems pretty straightforward. Yeah, there is. But it's interesting because if you read up some information on the film, they sort of talk about how it's meant to be taken literal, like there's this supernatural force out there somewhere. But at the same time, there were like these apparently these hints planted throughout the movie that there's like this hallucinogenic I forget if it's like an herb or like a fungus or something like that that's like around the environment that can be seen. So apparently it certainly could actually have something in their heads that's causing them to see these things and sort of start acting out with each other and be paranoid like that. That's interesting to think about as well, like to actually think to yourself, what's actually going on here? Is it really witchcraft, or is this family just tearing each other apart over fungus or whatever it is? So either way, it's a different kind of tragedy, one way or the other. Like I said, the best thing about this movie is probably its mood and atmosphere. You just really feel this ominous presence throughout with whatever the cause is. And I keep saying it's not like a stereotypical horror movie, and it's there's no like jump scares. There's no like real like intense in your face like chase sequence or anything like that. There's no like really scary moment, which sounds like a which sounds like a bad thing, but this film, like almost every minute of it, has some form of discomfort or some form of just eeriness or creepiness, and I really, really admired that throughout the movie. And it just had this, like I said, mood. I keep saying that. Sorry if I sound repetitive, but it just had that mood throughout. And I think that, along with Anya Taylor-Joy's performance in this and what Thomason is going through, are the best parts of it. And so, of course, like the brother, he ends up supposedly being possessed. Caleb. He does these chants. It is pretty disturbing to watch. So this movie isn't like horror, scary, jump scare, but it does have that, like I said, those great, creepy, eerie elements, and then sort of moments of just disturbed, sequences. And the mother just gets more and more paranoid. She starts accusing Thomason, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, of being this form of Satan, or being this. Carrying out Satan's mission or something like that, or witch herself. And Kay Dickey, you really don't like her in Game of Thrones, and you don't like her here. Which is why I wasn't very upset when Thomason actually has to kill her, and she stabs her with a knife or a bill hook, I guess, in self-defense. That was actually a cool payoff. I like that Thomason had to kill her mother in the movie. That was good. It's cool to say that, but again, I don't see us how we were supposed to like that character too much anyway. There's like one scene with her where you almost can see her perspective or why she's breaking down, but then she just keeps going. And the ending isn't very typical either. It's pretty just kind of goes for it, or it's not like a typical ending. Like I said, there's no like witch that pops out and then Thomason kills her or something and that's it. Pretty much her whole family is killed. The young twins, they end up dying because turns out this goat they had named Black Phillip is actually Lucifer, or it could be Lucifer in goat form. And, it causes them to die, it causes the whole panic with the mother and Thomason killing her in self-defense. And then, Lucifer, supposedly in the goat form, ends up killing the father. Then Thomason, she's supposedly successfully influenced by him at the end. Then she goes into the woods, naked. Then she finds this crowd of other witches chanting it to the open flames. And then she rises up, and that's how the film ends. So that's a movie that's also going to, confuse and, probably displease a lot of people, either because they don't understand it or they wanted a more usual type of ending, or both. But I actually, I'm kind of glad they went with it and didn't fall into any, tropes, really, or like horror cliches. I can't really think of one that they did, really, so that's awesome, actually. And I saw I really liked Anya Taylor-Joy and Morgan, and although I really liked that movie, I do think that kind of fell into those, traps, in the final act of the movie. And it kind of went in a more sort of expected way, whereas this one didn't, and it stayed pretty original and true to what the movie is trying to be, I think. I could go on, but I just really enjoyed The Witch. It could be one of my favorite horror films, really. Just a really great performance by Anya Taylor-Joy, a great tone throughout, and I just really appreciated and admired a lot of it. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought if you've seen this movie. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. And if I had to rate it, I'd rate it. I wrote like an A- here because I feel like I do need to watch it again. But I'd probably honestly side with an A, solid A at this point. It was just that good. I really, really liked it. So yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.